I kind of want to watch this to see what Jimmy has to say about the history of how this was invented.
Advantage, but changed the entire PVM culture in. Through these doors behind me is the lair of a 24,000-pound aquatic salamander that will stop at nothing to kill me. And believe me, he can. But years ago, a plugin was created that not only gave players a huge strategic advantage, but changed the entire PVM culture in old school RuneScape forever.
Dude, I love Jimmy's intros, man. They're so chill. It's funny how without add-ons, it's funny how WoW without add-ons feels more fun, but OSRS without plugins feels unplayable. I don't know. I actually don't think I could play RuneScape without plugins. I don't think I would be able to do it. I could probably play WoW without plugins. In fact, I've thought about it. I've thought about doing like a no add-on classic WoW playthrough. Like no questy or anything, and I think that would be fine. But RuneScape, no plugins seems miserable. I don't think I could do it. I don't know if you guys could do it. I don't think I could. Mobile is optimized for no plugins, but I also don't think I could play on mobile. I'm just not a mobile gamer. It would be tough. It would be very tough. This intro's going crazy right now.
That's all there is to it. What do I get for that? Oh. Okay.
White light.
Ground markers have become an essential utility for a lot of players, helping them beat bosses, save spots, master game mechanics. But I'll tell you one thing that ground markers does not help you with, and that's your hygiene. There's actually only a 0.02% increase in your hygiene from toggling on ground markers, which is not significant, barely noticeable. So for your hygiene, we're gonna have to use a different plugin.
Did Jimmy lose weight? This is Jimmy from 2 years ago. Probably before he started bulking up and hitting the gym and using all the AG1 sponsors that he got. So I think he's a bit thicker now, but this is 2 years ago.
And to be honest, it's not even a plugin at all. It's a company, a very real one. I've talked about them a lot over the years. And they're the sponsor of today's video.
Bro, shout out Manscaped, bro. They used to sponsor a lot of stuff.
One of my most prized possessions, the beard hedger. This is an actual miraculous piece of engineering by humans. Manscaped keeps putting out new lawnmowers. When you think they're the safest they can be, they just
W to
skin-safe technology.
The Manscaped sponsor. Make sure you use Jimmy's code if you're gonna pick one up.
Cutting our balls. Allow me to show you a little secret called the Handyman.
Does anybody use one of these, by the way? Would anybody recommend this? Because I'm gonna need a new razor soon, actually. You know what's crazy is the razors, like when you shave your head, you need one skull shaver, and then you need one shaver to like shave your neck and around your ears. And so I might have to pick up a new around the ear shaver soon. I don't know if anybody would recommend the Manscaped, but if you do, let me know. If not, I'm gonna get a wall or something like that. Use Phillips, okay.
This video. I just want to preface this before we get into anything here. I am in no way against ground markers or tile indicators, NPC highlights, anything that we talk about today. I kind of just want to look at all of them from the same way I looked at construction during my evolution of construction video, just how the players have essentially evolved the game itself based on a trendy sort of play style, just how we started looking at the game differently. So I have a lot of audience members that are either unfamiliar with RuneScape or extremely casual about it, but I also have audience members who are so incredibly deep that they can't separate RuneScape from reality. So I'm gonna pull us all back for a second, get us all on the same.
I think that's my chat right there.
Deck. We're all seeing
the guys on the right
angles together. Let's go back to RuneScape preschool and talk about movement. RuneScape is just a big grid, with a ton of squares on it. In each one of those squares is
A lot
another
more
grid
squares.
of squares, some of which are walkable. RuneScape movement is not a full 360 degrees like you see in most video games. We are limited to increments of 45-degree angles, 8 of them. You get to choose your favorite direction to go. You've got 8 to choose from. Pick your favorite one.
Guys, our life is just 8 tiles. We have 8 decisions in life. You have up, down, left, right, and you have kind of up, down, left, right, but more to the left, right, and side. Diagonal, if you will. Just remember, guys, you have 8 choices, or 9 if you count don't move at all. That's all RuneScape is just continuously picking one of those 9 choices.
Or the one that doesn't get you killed. It's up to you. To make your character walk on a square, you point your mouse and click on it. And when you...
Wait, it is more than that because you can skip tiles, right? So if you count, it's 8, but then you could skip tiles. And it's more than, is it 16? You have 16 choices. Wait.
You click on a square, you can get there at 100% speed of walking or 200% speed of running. Nice. So now that you've mastered RuneScape movement, it's time we talk about our first adult subject of the day, game ticks. Game ticks are simply how often the game's updated. In 2009, RuneScape's creator Andrew Gower planted the seed of ultimate efficiency by revealing on a public forum that RuneScape operates on an internal game clock of 600 milliseconds, 100 BPM, every 0.6 seconds, 100 ticks a minute. But even if we did see him say that in 2009, it meant nothing to us because we were all 12. But now, this 600 millisecond internal clock has effectively ruined the lives of thousands of people, setting off this fuse, this puzzle finally being connected in their brain that set off endorphins and dopamine in ways they've never felt before, causing them to train virtual levels on this character
Look at the min-max
on the internet for thousands and thousands of hours just because they see this number getting higher than it was a second ago, 0.6 seconds ago, my mistake. And they just keep going and going and going. So anyway, why am I telling you these things? These very basic things. The combination of RuneScape's very simple and limited movement mechanics alongside the internal game clock and understanding.
I wonder who the first person was to learn how to tick manip. You think anybody even remembers? Bro, he's tick manipping. Are you seeing this? There's no way. He's breaking the game. How is he doing it? He's using every tick. It's like taking that. It's like that movie where you could use it, the entire, your entire 100% of your brain. What they called it, DMT or something. He's like, oh my God, he's using every tick.
Understanding the ticks, it caused this
Limitless, yeah, that movie.
That there did in fact exist a god amongst Runelite plugins. Up until 2017, Old School's endgame was God Wars Dungeon, Zulrah, Corp, which today are more in the intermediate range of PBM. But at the time, that was all there was. That was it. That was your endgame. In 2017, Old School received its first raid, Chambers of Xeric. Before Chambers released, it was pretty implied that it was never meant to be soloable.
You can go in solo if you like, but we're making no promises that you'll be able to make it through alive.
But if you got real technical about this boss and its mechanics, you could kind of see.
I'm convinced that everything is going to be soloable. Like, there's somebody that can figure out a way to do it. And I blame Port Hazard. This guy can figure out a way to do anything.
What square you needed to be clicking on at exactly what time. When his head's moving a certain way, you could draw it out. You could see it in your head if you tried. But what if you didn't need to imagine this in your head? What if there was a way to just have it visualize?
Solo next possible? I have seen on Behemoth somebody who solos next, by the way. Yes. I think that's not even, I think that's been done several times. What's crazy is, like, when you think about the developers and they're designing, like, they designed Cox and they were like, yeah, this is probably not soloable. And then now people just do it on the regular. Everything just gets figured out and solved eventually. And then it becomes a meta, and then it gets adapted into like mainstream RuneScape culture, you know, because from the moment that I picked up Cox and started doing it, people were like, solo win, solo win. And it was just immediate how many people were asking me. And then it really became just the whole like majority of the questions like about Chambers, like, when are you going to do solo? And I guess it's just such an ingrained part of the RuneScape culture now that people just immediately ask you about it. And it's crazy to think that thought was originally thought to be impossible when the developers designed it. And that's just the evolution of combat. No pun intended.
On your screen. No, nothing like that. That'd be crazy. The same year of Chambers of Xeric, we also got another extremely
Don't say
tough
EOC.
PVM challenge, arguably still the toughest
Guys, EOC is kind of like Voldemort. You're not allowed to say it.
PVM challenge in the game, the Inferno. A strictly solo, wave-based boss challenge fight thing, mini-game, fucking cape. You get a cape at the end. And this was the true test of a player's game knowledge and just how well they knew the RuneScape mechanics. Prayer flicking, safe spots, movement, positioning, the combat triangle, supply management, you name it. You had to not only know it, but you had to master it. One mistake in this place, and you're back to the start. On day 3 of its release, real-life magician RuneScape legend Woox was the very first person to defeat Zuck, the final
Bro is in a T-bow and is that proselyte with a tank helm and a max cape?
boss of the Inferno.
Armadillo? He's in Armadillo.
And introduced the very first Infernal Cape to the world of old.
Bro, imagine walking around in Gielinor with the only Infernal Cape in the game. Holy dude. I've never even thought about that. That is absolute cinema, dude. Look at all the people.
Old school RuneScape. The Inferno and Chambers demanded a lot more concentration than players were used to when it came to any form of PVM they'd done before. Not to mention having the stats and gear to get the job done in the first place. For these challenges, you really had to just think about how this game works. This ground is no longer this greenish gravel. No. None of that's real. It's just a video game surface that someone painted in a program.
Yeah, you could turn all that off too. All this rubble and stuff, it just gets in the way of the shadows, which you need to avoid. So you just turn all that off, and then you just stare at the grid, and then you do tile markers and make your game look like some elementary school project. That works for me. I don't know.
Think in squares. 4 points, 4 of them. There's 4
Minesweeper.
And I want to start separating these squares into sections. I must go to this section of squares when his head's over there. I must go to that square to make sure it isn't fair. Run around this square as long as you care and avoid that square for a chance at a rare. In April of 2018, ground markers
Jimmy with the Dr. Seuss
pushed out to the world. I spoke to Adam, the creator of Runelite, about this. In a span of about 70 days, basically the entire player base that were using third-party clients shifted to Runelite once they found out it was open source, and all of these plugins that were normally premium only, they were now completely free and being actively updated on Runelite. So this mass migration definitely played a big role in these ground markers
Dude, Runelite is such a... Runelite has the power to just shut down RuneScape whenever they want. Have you ever thought about that? Runelite could literally take out RuneScape in one day. They could just turn it off and make it stop working. Runelite owns RuneScape. The game is not even for so many people, the game is not playable without it. That is like a scary thing if I'm Jagex, bro. You know how many people would quit if they didn't have plugin? Like Jagex would have to buy the software from them and implement it into the main game or something, or make their own version of it, which would roll out all the plugins way too slow. That's crazy.
starting to pop up everywhere. You saw them pop up in tutorials and YouTube
It's
videos
open source. You could
and
clone it
streams,
and continue
everyone was just
development.
kind of hopping on board. It definitely
Okay.
opened the doors to PVM for a lot of players. If you've ever tried something like Chambers of Xeric, and just the first time you're in that room and you're trying to dodge the crystals and you're trying to pay attention to what prayers you need up, and they're getting turned off and you got lightning fucking run around you, it's extremely overwhelming. So
Guys, when you do solo ohm wrong, it is one of the hardest things. It is one of the hardest fights in all of RuneScape. There is so much going on and you're trying to recover it. It is so hard. But when you do it right, it feels like you are playing the violin on stage and you are Mozart, and everything else just fades away and you were just in that zone. And it is not that hard. But it is infinitely hard until it's not. That's RuneScape.
having just a little bit of visual assistance really opened up this opportunity for players
Any luck at Hydra?
to
Not yet.
kind of slow it down in their heads and give it a shot, and suddenly they could play with their friends again. It helped players beat something for the first time, or players that were already experienced at PVM and going
Congrats,
for their
Jam.
628th kill of the same boss. This allowed them to kind of turn a part of their brain off, just a little bit. Ground markers are usually coexisting with another plugin that is already...
I can only imagine what it was like when Chambers first came out and everyone was trying to learn it. I bet it was just a nightmare because the player skill level in general was lower at the time when it came out, because a lot of the movement and methods that exist today didn't exist. Players haven't risen to that they haven't raised their bar of the skills and of what they're capable of. Like their skill ceiling and floor was way lower than it was today. So I imagine that Ulm was just insanely difficult when it came out. And the gear was worse too. That's true. I went in a raid with randoms on release. We got stuck on Vespula. Well, that's actually still happening to me and the WoW players. So I can imagine.
Arguably more used than ground markers, and that's tile indicators. Tile indicators helps you with the fact that RuneScape is often lying to you. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, lying to you. The truth is hard for RuneScape. No, not your favorite game, RuneScape. Oh no, yes. Here's a character in the game. All right?
He's not right there.
Imagine that's you for a second, and you see this character and you're thinking,
yeah, you see this character? He's not even right here. This character is way over here in the game files. This was the hardest thing for me to realize in RuneScape, was that your character is not where he is. He's ahead of that. It took me a long time to get used to that, because in WoW, your character is exactly where he is. And that's like a core part of the game. And it was tough.
Yourself, okay, here I am. I'm on this square. Well, I've got bad news for you and this newly adapted character of yours. There is a meteor fireball insta-death projectile right above you right now. And it appears that you have about until I unpause this to live. But take everything you know about everything and throw it away, because that is not where your character is. Simply not. It looks like he is, I know, but he's actually over there. Yeah, this is basically the game devs showing us what our brain wants to see, because when we think about travel on our legs, we do it in fluid motion from point A to point B. We don't teleport there normally. We have to walk there and see a walking motion. But the game engine doesn't really give a fuck. The game engine knows its internal clock. It knows the speed in which players walk to squares. 100% for walk, 200% for run. So if you run...
Hold on, guys. We have a really important message to read real quick. Does Sard support some humans wanting to separate from the rest and try to spend the next 200,000 years becoming mermaids, generation after generation, because whales are technically hippo mermaids? They're mammals. Technically, human mermaids are factually a genetic possibility. I believe what you're referencing is humans trying to take on the possibility of evolution, where they spend their entire lives in the water over several thousand years to manufacture and genetically make themselves better at being in the water. So they just turn into mermaids in several thousand years. If that's happening, that's big if true.
You're going to be 2 squares away immediately, and that's what we see here. It wouldn't make sense for your guy to just suddenly be over there. We've got to show him going there. But this can be problematic for things like those. What if the situation was like this? Now, it looks like your player is safe, but as we've just found out, this is truly your character's last moments. And tile indicators also has destination tile and hovered tile, which can be huge for PVM.
I love hover tile.
If you just click between 2 squares and you know, you're in a fast-paced situation, it's really a toss-up of which one you're gonna end up on. Hovered tile.
I can't play RuneScape without true tile, hover tile, and the tick counter over my head, and the XP drops, customizable XP drops, and the boosted stat plugin, and the hidden thralls, and the thrall reminder plugin, and I need the one that hovers over the grid in your inventory, and I need the dark vanilla plugin, and a bunch more that I can't remember.
And destination tile kind of eliminate the possibility of you sending your character somewhere that you really don't want to send them. I actually see a
Quest
lot
helper
of players using this, even players who don't like using plugins like Bodhi.
Anti-drag, anti-drag.
Tell where your guy is. It's definitely raised the skill cap overall for how good a player can become at PVM. Ground markers eventually got updated to be more customizable with the width, opacity, the colors, even labels. And some players capital.
Bodhi is kind of like the peekaboo of a RuneScape. He uses probably the least amount of plugins that I've seen any other player using. In regards to like how his UI looks and stuff like that. I don't know how he does it, but I guess when you're that much of an OG and you grew up playing it without them, you kind of just get used to this feeling of the game. It's like using the Force in Star Wars, and Bodhi is strong with the Force.
Capitalized on this, using them in very unique ways. Wow, look at that! Oh, golly, isn't that impressive? Oh, look at that one. Wow. But the sweaty players
People are
have
drawing
used this
art with
customizable
tiles.
ground marker feature to essentially expose the weak spots of the implemented game mechanics. They've completely isolated the bossing experience to a grid and the clock. It's just a different way of looking at the game. And once this really complex focus started, kind of began a separation from player and RuneScape. It's hard to explain. Let me take you somewhere real quick. This big fella here is a Bandosian general, heavily involved in the historic God Wars. After betraying his 2 allies during their fight against Zamorak, he found this little corner of the cave here. And has been there ever since. And he is not a force to be reckoned with. We're talking about a level 624 who stood at 9 feet tall as just a boy. Well, not as a boy, he's an orc, or an org, if you want to be politically correct about it. This guy doesn't even bother bringing a real weapon to fight you. He uses his fists. And when you take him on, it's not just him. He's got his trifecta of cronies around him that will stop at nothing to get you away, repel you from the forward operating base of Bandos, for the glory of the big high war god. All glory to Bandos. Or you can disregard everything I just told you because it no longer matters the way you're about to play. We're gonna go ahead and dumb Bandos here down to nothing more than just a 3x3 entity. Funny enough, this grid in particular can be exploited in a variety of different, very goofy looking ways. Goofy but effective.
Door altar?
We got the 6-0, 7-0, 9-0. I'm sure someone's got an 8-0 somewhere. I can't find it. I don't even know what it means. Assuring efficient kill count per hour, using minimal supplies, taking advantage of this fucking buffoon. You got all your tiles placed nice and pretty. You even got a green one telling you this.
Did bro just click on the cannon? Is that it used to be a strat? You click the cannon strat?
It's like your little start button, you know, when you're restarting your little circle you're running. These are 2 entirely different
I
video
still
games.
use
We're
that
growing
strat.
up. We've been here a long time, and as we grow up,
You can use
obviously
the
our
cannon base for a Red
imaginations
X.
aren't able to just constantly be running and immersing us into this crazy, intimidating boss room of this fucking 24-foot tall org. What's an org? Why'd you guys call it an org? Especially on a boss like this, that, you know, if you're going there to either make money or you're hunting for an item and you're there 600, 700 times just killing it over and over and over and 9 rain and over. Our imaginations just can't carry us like they used to. And when RuneScape does give us
That's a
these
9 rain
occasional
shout out.
immersive feelings that get our imagination running even as adults, it's super special, but it never really lasts because our brains don't do that anymore, and it sucks and it's sad. So that's why we have to appreciate it when it happens. Perceiving General Grardor's room like a grid is a way to turn this 16-year-old piece of content into this challenge that tests your precision and your timing. It's a different type of dopamine releasing from us. And no matter what Jagex releases, there's always going to be a way to skip a phase or negate all damage, or just simply making the kill go as fast and smoothly as possible by having a certain pattern. That's just the way that some players see the game. I don't. I for sure don't, but they do. When I go into a boss room, especially for the first time, the last thing I want is this collage of tiles on the ground explaining something, where to go at what times, where to start, how to do it, where to hide. When I went into Corrupted Gauntlet on buy release recently and just wanted to get 1 KC.
You should get the plugin, Jim. After this, I'll tell you what it is.
Pissing me off.
It's called the Gauntlet plugin.
I'm using it.
It's the wrong one, man.
Why?
Because you'd have bullshit popping up.
I don't want bullshit popping up.
He doesn't have that stuff enabled, but he is using the plugin.
My pal is telling me, you know, turn the plugin on. You'll see
This is
Hunliff's
chat right here.
little radius. You'll know where.
Oh my god, I just tuned into a stream and I don't see a ton of information coming up about what's going on. I need to let him know to download the plugin right now. That is your first instinct at watching anybody who is new play the game. Hey, download plugin right now. Use plugin. Hey, use plugin. Hey, use, you know there's a plugin. Hey, plugin. Yo, you're playing without the plugin. That's everybody. Every single person is like that nowadays. We're all plugin Andes.
Not to step so he won't stomp on you. Turn on true tile so you can see where you actually are. I never turned them on because I wanted buy release to face off against Hunliff. I feel like adding plugins give that sense of separation between the actual video game of RuneScape, at least the version that I play. I like the idea of just a RuneScape dude fighting a RuneScape boss. There's something special about it to me. And I don't want plugins kind of interrupting that compound. My staff and my bow against his fucking war crimes, whatever he's using, just pure RuneScape happening in this boss room. And when I did finally get my 1 KC, god damn, it felt good. 2 months ago, there was a lot of ruckus from the high-level PVM community. Players that are inarguably amazing at RuneScape. They know the mechanics inside out. They have massive amounts of kill count on every single boss in the game. It's what they do. It's what they look forward to. It's their thing. There was a point brought up that Jagex just hasn't focused enough on PVM, which
Grant
I can
Spitzy,
kind
thank you
of
for the prime.
understand. I mean, we've gotten 3 raids in how many years? 7 years. A lot of bosses are simply just given slight tweaks, like a hard mode version, but their main focus was just Jagex isn't making things challenging enough. They're not putting things out. They're challenging their huge fucking IQs enough, which is bullshit. Do not agree. I would love to have you explain to any player that isn't a part of the high-level insane PVM community that a 500 TOA is not challenging enough. These guys have played the game so much.
I still haven't gotten one cleared. And I'm starting to get decent at RuneScape now, guys. I don't know if you've seen the clicks, the gameplay, the absolute cinema going on every single day on the stream, but we're getting there. But I would say I think I could probably do a 500 TOA. I just don't have the damage yet, is what I'm thinking. At my skill level. Somebody else could play my account and probably get it right now. But me personally, I don't know. It would be very difficult to do a 500 TOA right now. It would be tough. I think maybe we might be like Confliction Gauntlets and Dex. I think Confliction Gauntlets and Dex, maybe we start trying for the 500 TOA. But I think that RuneScape has so much good difficulty now. And god dang, wasn't Doom just such a good boss? You can infinitely delve deeper if you're good at the game. And you could just go as far as you want to and you have higher chance of getting loot. In my opinion, guys, Doom is just beautifully designed boss. It's so good. Doom is good, just not for me. And that's the thing too, is like, even if you're not good at Doom, you could still get the loot. You just got to be able to delve to like wave 6 and you can get everything. I feel like just about anybody could get to wave 6.
It's almost fogged their vision with what they're actually doing, what kind of skill it takes. Even with all the plugins in the world, if you were to give an average player all their layouts, all the instruction on how to do it, it's still incredibly difficult. Some players are just really deep in the grid vision, we'll call it. The whole discussion got me thinking back to, what's the last memorable old school moment of PVM that I really remember being excited about, but not just me, but excited because the people around me were also excited. I immediately thought back to Woox getting the first Infernal Cape, and
that was
I
insane.
thought about it for a little bit. I'm like, why that one? Why is that what
Look
I
at
remember
him, bro.
most? A lot of amazing PVM
They crowned
achievements
him.
have happened since then. It was like almost 7 years ago. Why did that feel different? So I went back and watched the last 15 minutes of the fight.
That's crazy.
When it was Woox versus Zuck. I'm watching Woox just be more concentrated than any human beings concentrated on anything before. And that's when I realized I feel like I'm watching
The Walker.
RuneScape. Woox versus Zuck. There's nothing marked on the floor. There's no square underneath him. There's no tile telling him where he actually is in the game. He doesn't have the healers highlighted in all blue,
Dude,
so
he's
they're
doing
easier to click.
he's doing
It was
healers with a
just the
T-bow.
greatest player to ever log into the game against the toughest challenge that the RuneScape universe has ever offered in a 1v1 showdown in front of an audience that could fill up an NFL stadium. It was just an
Dude, he
authentic,
didn't even tag the
pure
other ones.
RuneScape experience. It
Damn,
was just
dude, Zuck has got to be crazy high on health here. He's got to be like halfway back to full health from those two healers, right?
RuneScape. And
I've
don't get
never
me
seen Woox's first kill. If that was his first kill, that's insane. He's got to be crazy high.
I think Woox has seen RuneScape as nothing more than a grid for the last 20 years. He didn't need to visualize it on his game client, which is what made what he did incredible. Now that I'm thinking about it, that's basically what ground markers and tile indicators are. It's Woox vision, like a fucking John Malkovich experience, but it's Woox. You're seeing old school through his eyes.
This video made me fired up. I kind of want to watch the first Zuck kill ever now. That's got to be on YouTube somewhere. We might have to look that up after this.
by putting ground markers. You finally get to see what it's like being him, and you still suck, which is amazing. Even with his vision and the way his brain works, you're still misclicking. It's mind-blowing watching you. But like I was saying, his world first Infernal Cape was the last time I can truly remember just the whole community being excited.
1 hour and 45 minutes in?
PVM-based achievement together. It felt like it was the last time we were really seeing RuneScape. But I mean, thinking back, Rendy and Exact getting level 3 fire capes, are you kidding me? It's fucking amazing. But at the same time, as cool as it was, it didn't feel like it was a level 3 versus Jad. It felt like a level 3 versus game ticks. It wasn't versus RuneScape, it was versus game engine. It just hits differently. It's an incredible achievement. I don't want to discredit Exact and Rendy. The average human could never pull that off. It's just how it feels, I guess. I truly think that some of the high-end PVMers have a lot of potential to just turn the plugins off and create more of a spectacle around these amazing things that they're doing. And recently there was a string of bosses released alongside Desert Treasure 2, and I kept seeing clips pop up of this awakened Leviathan, and the mechanics of it are nutty. It's cool. It's a really cool looking boss.
When I first started playing,
if you could see it.
When I first started playing, everyone was saying Awakened Leviathan was like the hardest boss ever. I think that the Yama contracts are harder, but just for a boss, I think Awakened Leviathan, a lot of people were saying this one was going to be my hardest challenge when I first started the game. I am 10 months into playing RuneScape, and I still haven't taken on Awakened Leviathan yet. So, and I play every day. This is crazy how long it's taken me to get there.
This?
That looks like a poor Hazard video.
It's gone too far. In my eyes, this is where I draw the line. If your game looks like this, if you're streaming yourself, recording yourself, playing the game, and your boss room looks like this, I'm sorry. I'm not watching it. I'm not
watching it
to look at it. And it's not because I don't think that you are doing extremely challenging content that the normal player couldn't pull off. It's extremely impressive what you're doing. It's just, I don't play that video game. It's not the one I know. It's not the one I want to see or play. Keep doing your thing, brother. Fucking rock on. But I'm not there. If I want to watch someone click around on colorful squares and focus on getting the timing of shit right, I'll watch Guitar Hero videos. I know some of you are probably like, oh yeah, okay, Jim, why don't you go do it? Go do the Awakened Leviathan with no plugins on, since you're doing all this yapping about it. It's impossible to do it without plugins. Are you kidding me, Jim? You're an idiot. You look like an idiot all the time. Go, Jim, do it. I want to see it. No, I can't. I'm sorry. I can't personally prove to you that it's possible to do it without plugins. I can't find any video. You may have a point here. I can't find any video or stream of someone doing this without plugins.
No one in the world has killed Awakened Leviathan without plugins? Surely someone's done it on mobile. Surely somebody's done it.
Plugins. I think you raise a point. But also, I'm about to destroy your point because I got a cold one to do it for me.
Oh! No plugins. This does look really cool. Okay, Jimmy proved a point here. This looks way cooler without all the squares on the ground. You gotta, just the game, bro, just the game, and you're just gaming while gaming? This looks sick. And this is pre-quiver. This is sick. So those projectiles are on when they hit you, not when they come out of his mouth, it looks like. Because if they were when it came out of his mouth, he would be praying mage right now. So they're on hit like Scurious. It's kind of like Scurious. Nice, dude. Cold one, the beast.
It's a really hard boss to do. A cold one's a different breed of fucking lunatic. I understand people using the ground markers for this thing. Maybe if it was like 3 years ago, I might have been standing here saying, you know, it takes away the integrity of the kill. You know, oh, when I was your age, the Calphite Queen used to wear Verox
Damn,
and
look
hit it
at
with
Calphite
a flail
Queen.
against its prayer it had over its head. I did ask a cold one what he thought about it.
I'm not gonna lie, I cannot remember the last time that I've hopped into an old school RuneScape stream and seen no tile markers anywhere. I will show you some tile markers I had from the last time I came here. You know, we'll let the tiles speak for themselves.
I also asked
Depression.
Will about it, who brought up probably one of the strongest points of this entire video.
I firmly believe that ground marker made me realize, like, oh, none of this matters. People shit on people for using like inventory tags, but is it really that different to like have fucking... Look at this shit, bro. I have 1 trillion tiles marked in this room. I marked these tiles like day 3 of this boss being out. If I can speak frankly here, let me just say one final thing. Maybe if ground markers weren't a thing, then Jagex would have to design a floor that doesn't look like you just fucking use the paint bucket tool. There is no human that plays this game that can fucking discern this tile from that tile.
But yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was really interesting to think about. I think we're in a really...
This gets into the game design question where WoW is struggling with, retail WoW especially, where players have gotten so good and then plugins and add-ons have made them even better, to where people are designing, they like Liquid has a designer on staff to code a add-on to trivialize mechanics in the raid as quickly as possible. That's his job. Make this mechanic go away. And so you are skipping parts of the games by using third-party software to make you even better, or to remove the process of you having to think about something other than your rotation, right? And so now you get into the process of the devs having to, the players will say, this is too easy. This is too easy. Yeah, because you're using all this third-party software that the devs didn't have in mind when they were creating the fights. They didn't know that you were going to cheese it with all of these plugins and add-ons. So now the next time they design a fight, they don't want to hear you say that it's not hard enough. So now they have to design a fight with these plugins and things in mind. And then people will use the old plugins and they're like, these plugins are actually not good enough for this difficulty boss. We've got to design new ones that are better and they'll help us trivialize this boss now. Right? And so then every single time it's like, okay, you have players developing plugins and you have devs making bosses for the plugins. And it's this constant battle of third-party software being developed to trivialize mechanics and devs trying to design bosses that are hard that can't be trivialized by third-party software. And that's where game design is at today, which is why World of Warcraft said, you know what? Fuck it. No more add-ons. No more combat add-ons. And so that like was like Blizzard dropping the bomb on the section, because like we gotta break this pattern. And then they said they were going to get rid of add-ons, but we kind of still have them. They were still using them in the race to world first. So I don't know how it was legal or whatever they were doing, but they figured out a way to still have combat add-ons. So I'm not super sure that they're ever going to be able to get rid of them. They just made add-ons harder to use for normal people. Huh. Well, that's where it's at. So hopefully Jagex can still continue to make, difficult bosses even with the plugins and everything. And they don't fall into that same cycle that retail WoW has with Blizzard.
Unique point in the old school timeline where the PVM culture is just really complex. To the point where plugins seem very necessary for a lot of players. It's a very interesting direction that we've gone in. It's definitely changed the game. It influenced a lot of dev decisions with what they know players can do. But I think that's all I've got on it. Let me know what do you think about all of this kind of game you prefer playing. Do I have anything to say? I guess I can use my own channel to talk to you about anything. I mentioned it on our Bank Standing podcast, which we recently brought back. In November, I will be doing a non-RuneScape video right here, not on a side channel. At the same time, I'm also working on probably the biggest old school RuneScape project I've ever put out. I will probably be making announcements in my Discord to help out with it, because I'm going to need a lot of community help to make this idea.
Damn, dude. Even Jimmy's videos from 2 years ago are still holding up today, dude. Jimmy's the GOAT. I love this video. I like how he just talks about different things in the game and he makes fun of it and he cracks jokes at it, man. I think Jimmy is one of the best RuneScape creators of all time. You could even call him the GOAT, one of the GOATs of RuneScape. W's in the chat if you enjoyed that Jimmy video.